Growing up in the South Bronx, you don't see a lot of green space. And back in 1998, in a place like Hunts Point, empty buildings, vacant lots, and waste facilities became the backdrop for labels like the ghetto. But also a tale of justice. Majora Carter was out on a run with a dog, stumbled upon one of those empty lots that just so happened to lead to a never-before-seen East River, and decided it was time for a change. Which is no surprise, by the way, as she's built a career out of continually setting new standards of excellence, the least of which is her first, winning a tenacious $1.25 million federal transportation planning grant for the South Bronx Greenway, then moving on to the foundation of her consulting firm, Majora Carter Group, as well as earning a Peabody Award for broadcasting and a MacArthur Foundation Award for her work at The Point and at Sustainable South Bronx. So now, to tell the rest of her story, I'd like you to put your hands together and bring out Majora Carter.
Hello, thank you so much. And thanks to everyone for inviting me here to share some of what I've learned about how to change those things we see around us that we know could be better, whether it's at your job or in your municipality, your community, or anywhere in America. And my method of creating positive transformation is not based in any complex theory of change. I find it's useful to look at some of our lofty goals as though they were simple commercial product launches. Now, how do businesses get millions of people to buy things they don't really need, yet in comparison, the social justice industrial complex kind of sees, all of the things that they've been working toward getting better, actually getting worse every year. Now, how you get support for your work is a process. And it doesn't only depend on the strength of your great idea. Now, ideas are the easy part. Everybody's got one at least, but few people bring them to reality. My method for getting things done follows the same steps you would use to sell, let's just say, a hairdryer. Now, everyone, please close your eyes and imagine that your goal for social change has been magically transformed into a hairdryer. I know, just work with me, okay? But if you want everyone to love this new hairdryer as much as you love the idea that brought you in here today, this is a way that we can do it. So before you go any further, you have to determine if there's actually a market need for this hairdryer. Is it a new and better one that you're doing? And once you have actually asked that question and had it answered yes, then you can proceed. Otherwise, pick another challenge. It's not like there aren't plenty of challenges for you to deal with, okay? But then after that, you have to provide an attractive solution. And that attractive solution is the kind of thing, you've figured it out because you've actually spoken to people about what they need. And that's when you look for angel investment. And an angel investor is usually have something to do with money, but oftentimes it's just an influential person or a group of people that can talk lovingly about your idea as well. And if you can't find anyone at this stage, you might want to rethink if your idea is as great as it was, and then you could just move on. Ideas are cheap, your time is perishable, so don't waste your time. But then you have to launch your beta version. And you have to get something out there. You have to show people that your idea is better by proving it out. Even if it's not perfect, that's fine. But because you need to understand, I don't care how brilliant you may be, people are unpredictable, which means you don't know what they're going to do with your creation. So you learn from this info, and you use it to redesign and refine your beta version. And then, and only then, can you actually reiterate and then expand what it is you're working on based on that real-world implementation that you did. Now you're ready to look for much greater investment because you've gone through that process and that's resulted in this exchange between all the parties I've mentioned. And you use those interactions to strengthen your chances of success. Now let me show you an example of how this played out for me. And if I had more time, I'd certainly show you my failures when I didn't follow my own advice, but this is all about success, so we're going to do that. So anywho, so first things first. the community I was born and raised in, and my launching pad, actually, under siege by the city and state, consistently putting lots of different kinds of dumps and projects like that in our local community. And then what we found was that our market need was that people in our environmentally and socially overburdened community just wanted a safe place to be and to play in. And the attractive solution was actually transforming this dump into a waterfront park. The angel investor was the US Forest Service that actually had a little bit of seed funding in order to give to folks that were working on restoring threatened urban rivers around the country. And so that actually helped to pay for things like volunteer, food and activities to get the ball rolling. It also helped to cart away all the stuff that was on the dump. It also did all sorts of things that get us to this beta version. But then, again, we learned and refined. People didn't necessarily know that there was a park down there. So we had to build programming into it. So things like boat building programs, canoe rides, things of this nature that really got people down to the park. And then, once we were at that point, that's when we were able to reiterate and expand. We were ready for the big bucks, and this is one of my favorite pictures in the world, because clearly I'm just posing, ready for my close-up. I have done the work already, but this was at the groundbreaking for a $3 million renovation grant that turned this into this. And this is the Hunts Point Riverside Park as it exists today. And after many people have grown to love and appreciate it. And this, by the way, is the exact same kind of process that we use to do everything. Oh, and I was actually married at this park as well, and that is the dog that pulled me into that park, into the dump that turned it into a park. So to transform, we've again used, and that's my puppy with the National Award for Urban Excellence that she helped win. And so, but to go from something like this to that did require a process. And the bottom line is, what we have is, we've used this exact same kind of process to do everything from creating tech companies that actually provide entry-level jobs into career ladders into the tech world from underserved communities. Greenway projects, this is exactly how we've gotten these things done, because we were impatient. We had legitimate and unavoidable impatience, which is exactly what you all have. Because frankly, what you do is a lot more important than selling hair dryers. So use a process to make sure that your impatience plays off to support and make this world a better place. So thank you very much for your time.
Y'all give it up one more time for Majora Carter. Amazing. The transformation is amazing.